Hello, Mirrorscapers. This is Liger's Eye returning again with a little more Mirrorscape information. Tonight, I'm actually going to demonstrate a new feature that the moderators were just given access to. The latest development build, the moderators usually get a sneak peek at some of it, and we get to try things out, make sure it's okay before it moves on to the beta testers. And the Mirrorscape team has added a new feature called Mirrorscape Labs, where they have new parts of the program, new stuff to test out and see if it's worth having. Is it exciting? Is it going to be good for the application or not? And we're going to give that a try. It's an opt-in feature. It is experimental in some cases, so it may not function properly some of the time, and what you see here may not be permanent. In fact, I can pretty much guarantee that they will change before it ever makes it past the moderators. But let's get in and take a look. So I'm going to go into settings here and switch this on. So enable Mirrorscape Labs features on. And some of the newest and fun things we're trying out. Be warned, there's no guarantee these features will work or stick around, so be careful including them in your maps. Not 100% what will happen, but we know it'll be awesome. Let us know what you think. Are you sure you want to turn on Labs features? Heck yeah. Okay, so now that adds in our drop-down menu here this Mirrorscape Labs, and there's two right now that we're going to look at. The cinema camera and 2D reference. We're going to start with the 2D reference one first. That's a little bigger, I think, of the two. And the cinema camera, although a simple feature, is really, really cool. So we'll take a look at that second. So we'll go into 2D reference first. What 2D reference is going to let us do is actually load an image to our build table. So the original intent behind this would that it would be a good tool for map makers. They can set a map down and scale it up to the correct size, and then lay out their pieces. So I've been working on one here, and we're going to bring this in. This is Gripley Village. This is from Candlekeep Mysteries. And we're going to get this loaded up here on the table. So first thing you'll note, we can scale this. So depending on what type of a map it is, I mean, this is a much larger map. You see here the scale is 1 square equals 100 feet. So we do want to be careful of how much will fit on the table. We can only do so much at a time, obviously, and on a standard scale map where 1 square equals 5 feet, it's easy to bring out a tile, drop the tile in, and then scale the map to match that tile. In this case, beforehand, I had to kind of play with this a little bit to get it to about the right scale. So I'm going to have to do a little fudging here once I load the map up. But we can lock that image in place, and let's go ahead and bring up. Oh, close that. Bring up a map. So here's the map that I've been working on, and we're definitely going to have to reorient this here. And I'm going to have to play with the scale here just a little bit to make it fit. So forgive me here for just a moment while we get this in the right place. It's looking like pretty close here. Okay, I'm happy with that. So as you can see, I've been working away at this one. Just an explanation of the map. Here, all on the left side of the map is water, open ocean, and all of these docks, fingers kind of move out into or spread out into the water. And the story behind this one is that there are giant crabs all around that the Gripply village used this to raise the crabs. So to fit this, I had to shrink. I had to get creative to come up with some docks. So I'm using some actually trap doors, and then chairs to act as the kind of the piers. And then what I will be doing here, let me grab some of the water pieces here. So I'm just going to scale this one up to kind of give you the effect here. Turn snap off so this makes a little more sense. We're going to drop that water just a little bit. So now you can see here the effect that I'm going for with the water and the chairs and the docks. So this is what the players will be on, and because of the scale, basically each square trap here is approximately 20 feet. So 5 of these is equal to 100 to get our 1 square for 100 feet. So when we add the minis on here, we're going to be shrinking them down to get them to kind of the right size. But because of that, this is going to be a huge map. So with this background or image in the background for reference, made it a lot easier to map out the kind of this maze of docks, and then also to plot out the what's going to be water, what's going to be grass. Eventually, I'll fill in this with trees, and just to kind of give you a quick look between the two, I'm going to hide the pieces, go return to the original map. So here's our map again, and then all of our pieces that I've added in. And it looks like I'm going to have to do a little repair here, as I moved some things out of position. There we go. So once I get everything built here, you can see I've already grouped the docks. So when it comes time to have water at the proper level, I'll be able to move these out of the way, get the water in place, and then we'll get everything set. So that was the main purpose for these reference images, just to make building faster. And I would say this is going a lot faster than it would had I been eyeballing with map on one screen and a description on another and trying to get everything into place. Now, kind of the side benefit to this is then we will also, let me open up just another quick map I threw together, and we are going to swap out our images here. And now we've got a portal. We'll scale this down. So here we've got some castle floors and a hole in the floor, and portal to who knows where in the center there. And then course, we've got some other options as well. Maybe someone's going to get sacrificed and thrown into the lava. So we can use these images to kind of enhance what we have. If there's not floor tiles available for a particular texture, here's one way we can actually use them to fill that in. And one more little demo here. Let's go ahead and go with clear the floor here. Another example of we may not have all of the pieces, but we can certainly use the image for our storytelling. So again, we have another gridded map, 1 square 5 foot. So this is standard. I mentioned this earlier that we can just grab a square tile, for example. Let's find a good one. Okay, this one's pretty clear. So here in this case, this square represents 2 5-foot squares. So this is total square is 10 feet, but the individual square is 5. So based on that, I know we need to shrink this map here. So we should have match that 4x4 size there. So I think that's about right. Close enough for this demonstration. But in the case maybe you don't have path pieces, or maybe the buildings are not quite what the pieces will match, or maybe they're just not that important to the story. Maybe you only have one building that you need to build. There's a quick way to get a map in place, but then add the extra pieces that you need. So we could obviously come in here and throw in a few trees to kind of flesh this out. So we're looking at we got some dimensional building here, even though we're still working with a flat image. So I think that's going to be pretty useful. I can think of a half dozen ways already that I might be able to take advantage of this. And of course, we'll see what they do with it. Right now, you can only have one image on a time. I can see a few cases where maybe you want more than one, maybe to replace some pieces that just aren't available yet. But we'll see what becomes of it. So let's move on. So we will hide that image. We'll get rid of those pieces. And let's look at the other option here, and that is the cinema camera. We've got it on already, so I'll switch this back on. Okay, so we'll load up another map here. Oh, what would be a good one? Let's go back to my hamlet. I like the hamlet. Okay, so simple little map. One of my first ones that I built in here. Kind of feels like home. So always kind of come back to it. So the cinema camera. Of course, if you want, you can sit here with your mouse and you can kind of scroll around. Eventually, you got to stop, re-grab a spot. You can zoom in. Zoom in is a little awkward. So cinema camera kind of runs that for you. And yeah, we'll switch this on here. So we've got keyframes that we'll tag, add a keyframe. We've got timing for transition. We've got a stop duration, and then we've got a pattern. And when we put this all together, let's see, make this 1 second. 3-second transition. We'll stick with the S curve. So from this point, this is where I want the camera to start. So we're going to add a keyframe here. Now I'm going to play cinematographer, and let's transition over to maybe to this side. Add a keyframe. So it's now locking the camera in this spot again. We'll come around, maybe zoom into touch. Add another keyframe. And let's come over here, but I want to come in a little lower. So my movement on the table that I'm doing right now to get in position, that's not what's being recorded. It's just these keyframe spots, these points in 3D space around the object that the camera is moving to. So we'll add a keyframe there. And let's see if we can do something drastic. I've only played with this for a few minutes, so forgive me if it's getting a little cheesy here. But I'm trying to make it a little extra dramatic here. We'll kind of key in on Billy. We'll do that thing they do when they circle around the main character. Let's zoom in a little here. Maybe a little bit too much for close-up, but we'll go with it. Okay, so I've got a total of 9 keyframes saved in this. Transition time, it's going to move from spot to spot in 3 seconds, and at each spot it's going to pause for a second and then move onto the next. So let's hit play and see where this goes. That's our opening shot. That's nice. And now we're circling around. And our close-up. Let's play with this a little bit. Let's take transition time. Let's actually bump that up 5 seconds. Nothing huge, but stop duration. Let's see what happens when we hit 0. I think, if I remember correctly, it's still going to stop in each of the camera spots, but it's not going to pause there for long. So it's following the same path it did before, but yeah, it's transitioning differently now, taking a little longer to get from spot to spot, but once it hits the spot, it moves right on. There we go. Billy's ready for his close-up. Okay, let's try this one more time. We'll put this back to 3 seconds, and let's make this linear. Not quite as dramatic. It's just down to business. Get from point A to point B. Yeah, that S-curve is definitely a little more dramatic. And just picture as you're telling your players a little story about the background of the village, a little history, and have this cinematography going on as they're listening to what you're talking about. And then once you're there, you can get back into the game. So I hope that was fun. These are some really cool tools that they're adding. I hope these get to stick around and move from labs to something permanent on the menu. But thanks again for joining me. Get out there, get building, and Scapers, we will see you later.